كل متحف شخص له قصة. من هو ديفيد باك؟
My name is David Beck. I'm the president of the Elkader Historical Society, and I give tours of the Carter House Museum. I grew up in Elkader and have lived here for most of my life, and have become sort of the historian of Elkader as well. And I enjoy it very much.
دعنا نرى تاريخ هذا المتحف من خلال عينيك. أين تبدأ الحكاية؟
Well, the Carter House was built by two brothers in 1855, Henry B. Carter and his brother Albert Victor Carter. And it was built for two families, so the house is actually called a mirror house. And if you look at it from the outside, you can see where the south side is a mirror image of the north side. So when we go inside, we see where they had the ability to close off with folding doors the different areas. So when you first come in, you come into the dining room, and this is where we have artifacts in regard to the naming of Elkader. It shows the Carter families. It shows some of the history of the Carter House as well, as far as who owned it after the Carters, and that was Joe and Ella Lamb. And then we have, after Joe and Ella Lamb in 1938, and we have the Reimer family. And then in 1983, after the death of Mrs. Reimer, the Elkader Historical Society purchased the house and renovated it. Took 2 years to renovate it, and then opened it gradually to the public for tours. So we start, generally I will start in the dining room as we come in. It's sort of the welcome center. And then we move to the kitchen, which shows how an old kitchen from the 1800s would have looked, with the cast iron stove and the pantry showing all the small utensils, or the ice box, which they would have had ice delivered on a wagon, and that would have kept their food cold that needed to be kept cold. We'd go into the washroom area, which was probably a servant's quarter as well. From there we go into, there's a small bedroom, which would have been the master bedroom for Henry Carter and his wife Harriet. From there I take people upstairs, and upstairs we would have had the children's bedrooms, which later were converted into living quarters for those who would rent, because with only one or two families sometimes they would rent portions of the house. And so the upstairs was partially renovated with a little kitchen and a bathroom, because the original house, when it was built, had no restrooms indoors. There's a little brick outhouse outside, and they would use that for going to the restroom. So coming back downstairs then, we come into the parlors, and there's the north parlor and there's the south parlor. And that's where you can see where the doors would have been closed for privacy, or they could open those doors so that both families could communicate and maybe have a party with different people of the town. Now, so as we then proceed through the house, we come again to the south portion of the house, which mirrors the north. So we come into the south dining room. We come into the south kitchen. We call it the south kitchen. And then a washroom again. From the washroom area, there's a small breezeway which goes into the annex. And the annex was built 10 years after the Elkader Historical Society bought the house and renovated it. And it was built because of the expanding collections that were coming in from donors, and we needed space to tell the story of Elkader. So the annex, a beautiful annex, was built, and now we have various collections of pharmaceutical items or barbershop items or military displays. That's also where we have the Algerian collection, which Catholic Arms has collected over time, showing that sister city relationship and how the town was originally named after Emir Abdelkader. And we also have a sheep skin or a woolen carpeting that was created over in Algeria in Cheribet. And there's a nice story behind that, because funds were raised at one time in 1993. $15,000 was raised and sent over to Cheribet to buy a well for irrigation, and they also bought some rams. And as the years went by, they sheared these rams and then made that rug and sent it back to Elkader in honor of the Girl Scouts who sent the money, who had sent the money over to Cheribet. So that's our collection, and the house is beautifully preserved yet, exterior and interior. We work hard to keep it maintained, because time does pass, and time and the elements take their toll on any home made of brick and wood. And so the annex is a wooden area that we have to keep up with constantly, making sure that rain and such does not come in through the roof. And so we have good groundskeepers too, who take care of our flower beds and maintaining the lawn. And so everybody comes together. Each has their gifts. It might be the gift of giving a tour. It might be the gift of maintenance on the exterior. It might be cleaning the house for us. It might be bringing to life in photos and presentations what Elkader's history is about, what the history of this house is about. And so we all come together and form a good membership of people who help to preserve the history of Elkader.
ما أهمية كارتر هاوس التاريخي في الحفاظ على تاريخ القادر؟
Well, I believe that every community should have a place, a repository for artifacts and the history of that town or county in our case, and the Carter House Museum is that location where people can donate what they have from Elkader's history, and we will preserve it here.
ما هي أبرز القطع الأثرية أو المعروضات التي تعكس هوية المدينة؟
Well, I believe the Carter House Museum itself is an excellent example of Elkader's early history. So this home being preserved by the Elkader Historical Society is perfect in that manner. Now, within this house are all the other artifacts which have been collected over time to tell the history of this community.
هل توجد معروضات أو وثائق تتعلق بالأمير عبد القادر في المتحف؟
Well, we have some of the history of why Timothy Davis named the town Elkader, and it was because he looked up to Emir Abdelkader for his compassion. And so we do have a small collection in here that shows that relationship and also our sister city relationship, which was established in 1984 with Mascara, Algeria.
هل لاحظتم تزايد اهتمام الزوار بتاريخ المدينة وتراثها الثقافي؟
Yes, especially from the Chicago area, we've had a number of Algerian friends come and tour the house, tour the town. I gave a tour a year ago on June 16th of a beautiful family from Chicago and a friend. And then last year as well, we had a brother and sister and a cousin with the last name Abdelouadoud come and visit. And that was a really nice time. We had a nice visit, went out to eat. And so we really appreciate seeing these people coming to visit Elkader.
كيف يساهم المتحف في إشراك المجتمع المحلي في الحفاظ على التاريخ؟
Well, we do presentations in different aspects of Elkader's history. Maybe it will be the downtown buildings, which were established many years ago. I have done cemetery tours, so we meet the people, the graves of those people who established Elkader. And I also write articles for Elkader, which I then post on Facebook. And then we will have a theme this year in the Carter House, which we hope will draw people in. This year's theme is the Elkader Fair, which was established in 1899. And so we hope that people will come and enjoy the house and see the history of that fair.
ما هو أكثر شيء مفاجئ أو مثير للاهتمام اكتشفه الزوار عن تاريخ القادر من خلال المتحف؟
Well, I would say it's the photographs which show what used to be here, how people used to dress. That has been a real rediscovery, because for many years these photographs have been filed away and never seen for many years. And so as we are bringing them to life again, to light, then people, they're fascinated by this, because we've lost a lot of that history, at least visually. And when we bring those photographs out and also write about these buildings and these people, it just brings it back to life.
ما هو التحدي الأكبر الذي تواجهه الجمعية التاريخية في الحفاظ على تراث المدينة؟
Well, overall, I would say it's waning interest in the things of the past. And it may be because we haven't done those things which bring it back to life. They don't know what was then. And so as we seek to bring it back to life, I think that interest is coming back. But to get those people then active in participating in giving tours, being active with this organization or whatever organization it might be, that's the challenge. And so when we can do that, that gets more people involved, and they become better acquainted or more aware of something they might have in their history, which they could then bring here to be preserved.
ما هي طموحاتكم المستقبلية للمتحف؟
Well, I would say it's getting younger people more involved, because that's the future of this museum. If we don't have people to take over what we are doing now, I'm sure every generation thinks this way, that there's going to be nobody coming up that will do this. But there usually is somebody that comes up. But we are an older group, and so we have to be thinking about making sure we're actively asking those people who we may think would make a good member of this group as a board or just a member to help give tours and such, to encourage them to become active.
هل هناك خطط لتوسيع المعروضات أو تطوير برامج ثقافية؟
Well, there is a thought that we would like to expand into collections. So if people of the town have a collection that they have that is unique, that we could incorporate that. The trouble we don't have room for much expansion. So where would we put it? Because it would take quite a large room. But I think it would be a worthy project. And so that would be the expansion. Otherwise, ongoing, it's just a matter of thinking from year to year, what do we want to feature in Elkader's past that is something that's interesting. And we can collaborate with the AEP project to consider avenues of expansion there as well.
إذا كان بإمكانك توجيه رسالة لزوار المتحف حول أهمية التاريخ والتراث، فماذا ستكون هذه الرسالة؟
Well, I would say don't wait to become involved in preserving our history, because eventually these artifacts and people will be gone and there's no way to bring them back. So we can learn from the past to make a better future. The Carter House Museum and the Elkader Historical Society would like to thank Yassine and Harass TV for visiting Elkader and featuring our beautiful city in this production. We thank you.